St. James on News Talk 92.3 KTAR.
Oh, it is sabotage. Or is it? We'll find out. We're talking about the attack, DPS, on the receiving end of a hacker group known as LulzSec. Is that how can I say it like that?
Sure.
Every time I see it, I want to pronounce it differently.
I know.
What do you want to call it?
Well, it's Lulz Security, I think, is
LulzSec?
they just shortened up this the
LulzSec. LulzSec. Whatever. Bunch of teenage nerds in their parents' basements. No, but that's what we think of when we think of hackers. But what exactly is going on with it? You know what I want to do? I want to bring in somebody who understands a little bit more about this because neither Rob, Pamela, nor myself are hackers. As a matter of fact, I like to make fun of Rob because anything past Control-Alt-Delete is a little hard for you on your computer. So I
yell at him a lot.
You yell at the computer as if that's going to fix it. And speaking of fixing them, Ken Colburn from the Data Doctors is joining us now. Ken, are you there? Oh, do I?
Yeah, pull him up.
I'm sorry. There, yeah. Ken?
Now I'm here.
There you are. That was my fault. Another button that confused me. So, Ken, we have you on here, and because obviously when you get into the inner workings of networks and security systems, you get outside the expertise of most people rather quickly. But you certainly understand this. How serious is this attack at DPS?
Well, what it's really doing, as we examine the entrails of this, is it's really exposing some of the stuff that we've been harping on for almost 10 years, and that is weak passwords and probably not keeping security software up to date. Here's what I've been able to kind of unravel, if you will. So we went down last night and downloaded everything, started taking a look at it, and publicly DPS is saying that they believe that 7 of their officers their email accounts got compromised.
Okay.
So you think about email. Email is accessible from all kinds of places, right? Work, home.
Yeah.
So if, in fact, these guys had breached the actual DPS network, I think we'd have seen a lot more information that was a lot more serious.
Got it.
What I'm looking at is clearly somebody's email attachments, right, which leads me to believe that these folks got compromised probably on their home computer, or just their account itself got compromised because they're using weak passwords. One of the passwords that was disclosed was 12345. How hard is that to break?
Yeah, and Ken, help me understand this. And I know only enough to be stupid about this. There are programs out there, and these hackers obviously either write them or have access to them that go through and can determine what your password is. And obviously, the more simple it is, the quicker they find it.
Well, yeah, it doesn't determine what it is. What it does is, and by the way, any of you can download these tools. Anybody on the Internet can download these tools. One of them is called a brute force dictionary attack, and basically it throws 10,000 words out of the dictionary at your account every minute or so. I mean, there's different ways to kind of go about doing this, but the tools that basically allow a computer to sit there and guess every word under the sun. I mean, it happens very, very quickly. And so that's why it's super critical. People don't use real words and real names and combine words and letters, alphanumeric passwords. That's why all your IT guys keep telling you this is a great example of why that has to happen.
And things like using a capital letter kind of in the middle of it and stuff like that. I've seen some of the statistics. If you capitalize one letter, it all of a sudden makes it exponentially harder to come up with that password and things like that.
Yeah, only if the system is case sensitive. So I mean, it really depends on the systems that are out there. So the message to everybody out there, those IT guys that you like to rag on,
which I do.
Please listen to them. They're getting the DPS IT guys are getting the black eye for this, and I have a sneaky suspicion that somebody got compromised at home. That's not fair.
Right.
So I'm reaching out to the DPS IT guys, going, man, I feel your pain.
Okay.
Ken Colburn is with us. He's with the Data Doctors. Also have a show here on KTAR, which you can check out on Saturdays. And Ken, how important is something like this in the grand scheme of things? LulzSec is now almost not quite a household name, but they're getting there because of the Sony hack, because they took down the public CIA website. What does all that even mean?
Well, there's generally two reasons to hack. One is for money, and if you're doing that, you do it covertly, and the other is for attention. I think you can figure out which category these guys. Now,
yeah.
Now, these guys are obviously very smart guys, and they're doing this for a reason. Again, I can only guess the profile, but it seems to me that they're probably younger, very idealistic. They can rationalize any of their actions, and they're doing this because they can, and because they feel like they're doing something greater good for the world.
They're making a political statement.
Well, let me be even more pragmatic. They exposed a problem that everybody has, which is weak passwords and not keeping your security software up to date, right?
Right.
Yes.
So from that respect, they're doing a public service. Everybody listening to this is going, "Oh gosh, I wouldn't want to be that guy." Think about the ramifications of one weak password from one DPS officer, right? What kind of exposure could that? Do you want to be the one responsible for that in your workplace? You were the one that got compromised and exposed all your workers.
Wow. I think that's great.
What does it mean to like take down the CIA website, though? Let's go there for a second, because what I don't get is how you do these things.
It's real simple. You guys will love this analogy.
Oh boy.
So they're called denial of service attacks.
Right.
So they're not physically taking them down. What they're doing is, remember the old radio station contests?
Yeah. Caller number 10 right now at whatever.
Right. What happens to 90% of the people calling?
They get busy signal.
Right, because too many people are trying to get into the system at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So what a denial of service attack is they've got all these infected computers, which are basically everybody listening to this segment right now. It's mainly their computers. They don't realize they're participating in this. They're a zombie in this army.
Right.
Their machine is sending 10,000 requests to the CIA website all at once, and then 10,000 other computers that have been compromised unknowingly are doing the same thing. They're sending so much traffic to the website that legitimate users and visitors can't get
just can't even get in, and that's what
they call a denial of service attack.
Ken, you said they're kind of unwittingly doing us a favor, and I think there's some truth to that in this as well, and per some of the things that this group specifically, LulzSec has said, is you should be thankful that we are the ones that hacked into it, because if we have your credit card information, if we have it, we're not doing criminal activity with it. We're just exposing how weak you are for political gain, because there's plenty of people out there that want that information and have every intention of committing crimes with it.
If I have to choose between the two groups, the ones that are after my money and the ones that are after attention, I like these guys better.
Right,
no
right.
question.
Yeah.
If I got to choose, the lesser of two evils is somebody like this that's going to expose these things. Mm-hmm. Now, we really don't know what they're doing with this information, so
right. As of right now, we're assuming.
Right. Ken Colburn is with us from the Data Doctors. And Ken, what is, we talk about some secure sites. So if you go pay your credit card bill online and it's got that HTTPS or whatever the heck it is that really secure? Can guys like these LulzSec nerds go after these and get through that security site?
I want to emphasize I didn't call them nerds, Ken, because I don't want them mad at me. That was Rob.
Oh, no, that's a badge of honor.
Nerds. Oh, okay.
So, well, yes, from the standpoint of they can't sit on the Internet and try to intercept that transaction. That's what the S is. It's scrambling all the information between you and what they can do, though, is remember I was talking about the key logger?
Mm-hmm.
That's probably one of the ways that they got this information was they tricked somebody into clicking on something that secretly installed this program that just sits there and records all your keystrokes.
Yes.
Right.
Well, as soon as that happens, it doesn't matter what security software you have. It doesn't matter which secured website you're going to. Every keystroke, like the username for your bank and the password, has been recorded.
Right.
Including the www.wellsfargo.com. Okay, you're going to Wells Fargo. Here's the username. It's that simple once they trick you. This is why it's so critical to keep everything updated, because they have the upper hand. They figure out how to get around these things. And the minute you let that security software lapse, there's 10,000 new ones every month that you're not protected against.
Yeah, and it's not just that. And I'm militant about that. I check for updates like every day on things, on everything. I have all that, but they're getting more and more clever, aren't they, Ken? I mean,
but they don't have to. There are
I'll grant you that. I'll grant you they don't need to be as clever as they are, but think about the amount of people, and that's kind of the point I was trying to make, is there are so many folks out there who are easily duped into, oh, really? Wells Fargo sent me an email and says I need to reinstall my password. I'll just click here and do it. And I'm like, no, I get those all the time, and I delete them instantly. There's no way Bank of America wants me to reinstall my password via an email.
Yeah,
it's not going to happen. I know that's phishing and spam. I know that. How many people don't?
Well, I mean, they're getting more sophisticated from the standpoint that there are more people going after these guys, and they have to get more sophisticated at covering their tracks. But the actual ploy of trying to get the average user to fall for something, the winning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, they don't have to work too hard to get that stuff done, and that's an unfortunate part of. That's the good fight that we're fighting every week on the Data Doctors radio program, is trying to get people to understand we're not just saying this because we're in the business. It literally impacts all of us, because all of those machines that are infected out there, and I'll tell you, about 60% of the machines that we get in our stores, the antivirus program, the security software expired about 6 months ago.
Wow.
So, Ken, give us some specifics. I'm the average guy sitting on my computer. I surf the internet, read the news, check the sports. What are some of the things I should do to protect myself? What are some of those programs I can use?
Well, I mean, there's a million programs, and we've got a lot of them listed on our websites, and we talk, and they change all the time, and that's another reason why we try to encourage people to connect with us on Facebook, so that when a new tool comes out or one becomes irrelevant, we can kind of notify those things.
Sure.
But you got to have a good antivirus, obviously, which also has the anti-malware and all the protection software that's there. You have to keep your operating systems up to date. And by the way, you folks that think, I got an Apple, I'm safe, wrong. About 6 months ago, the first easy-to-use, do-it-yourself hack kit was produced for the Mac operating system.
Yep.
And we've already started to see exploits and attacks, and we're getting more and more organizations and tech firms coming out saying, you know what, it's probably time to think about putting antivirus and security software on your Mac. So guess what? The jig is up.
All right, Ken Colburn, we appreciate it. DataDoctors.com, right?
You bet, and we're going to talk some more in detail about it on our show tomorrow at noon.
All right, outstanding. Thank you very much, Ken. We appreciate you spending time with us and understanding a little more and kind of what you can do to help this, and also to be aware of, the quote-unquote taking your work home and taking your email home. Listen, if your password is ABCD1234, did some of you just spit your coffee out because you thought I didn't know what your password was? Yeah.